questions that like everybody asks, like when they always, we'll edit all this out, but
Yeah.
when they're like we've had some artists who are like, submit your questions. And I'm like, no, like that's not authentic. And we'll submit questions to you. And I'm like, the same ones that you've done to K-Love and way, like, no, that's stupid too. So
No, I love it. I love it. It's going to be a vibe. It's going to be
that's right. We're going to crush this,
We're
Leanna.
going to crush it. It's already a vibe. I love it. So good.
Hailing from the Pacific Northwest, because I did my research on Google, and now in the hotspot of Kirksville, Missouri, performing at Night Vision on Friday with Strings and Heart, Blessing Offer, Josiah Quinn and Jeremy Camp, is the one and only Leanna Crawford, the one who, as I was driving in, I heard Psalms 23 on the radio. So high five your radio people. They're doing great work.
They are doing really great work. I'm very grateful. I feel like I have the best radio team. But thank you for having me. I'm so excited. I'm very excited for Night Vision.
And you win the award for the coolest dressing room of all the interviews we've done of artists for Night Vision. Is that a crib? That is a crib back there, no? Oh, no.
All into it. Like, I would have loved this in my Sunday school room, but this is like, I'm always in like the Sunday school room. There's like animals on the wall. I don't know. It's like a tree. It's a vibe.
And you're on tour right now with We Are Messenger.
Yes.
Darren, he's played Night Vision. Great guy. Does he have this cool stuff in his dressing room?
No, the guys' dressing room is lame. I saw in there, I was like, lame. So no, mine is way cooler. They always give the girls, it's just me and my sister on the road, so we're the only two girls. And they give us the best dressing rooms. Our tour manager, Kenny, is the best, and he loves us, so he always tries to give us the best room, which is so sweet.
I'm gonna out you real quick for a diva. So on this tour, if you go into the dressing room, if there isn't a Noah's Ark mural painted on the wall, do you just like, I need this or I'm not performing tonight? Is that how it goes?
No, that's what it is. I need my Noah's Ark. There's a frog. I need the art to inspire me. So
that's the inspiration for the next album. Right here is all the different animal prints that are going to be on the wall.
Yeah, it is.
Back in February, you released Stillwater's Deluxe Edition. Let's get that out of the way to make management happy and record labels and all that stuff. So added 3 new songs to it. And talk about that real quick.
Yes, you've really done your research.
Oh, I go deep. Put your scuba gear on, Leanna. We're going deep.
Put your scuba gear on. Yes, release 3 more. So it's so funny. Still Waters is my first ever official full-length album. And when it's like the culmination, really, the 3 of the songs I released in 22, and so from the songs from 22 until 24, it was like all 14 songs on one album, and it was like all one beautiful project. And there was 3 that I was like saving, and it just felt like they really needed to be in that same, because they were kind of in that same story. And so those 3 saving, and I'm so glad I did and made it for the deluxe, because it kind of just, I don't know, I really felt like I had this even more of a vision, because we didn't have them totally done. They were written, but not finished, production or anything. That, one of the songs, But You Do, which is, it's really special. I mean, all my songs are special, but that one to me, that one was one of my first, solo songs that I'd written. And that as far as, putting it out, and so it's, kind of terrifying. But originally, when I was going to put it out, it was just going to be a voice memo and a recording of, a guitar and vocal. And my friend Nick Schwartz produced it, and better yet, and he just did an incredible job and made it, so much better than the voice memo would have been. And so anyways, it was just really special. So it went from 14 songs to 17 songs, so a large album, but it's been really, really sweet to see, especially one of the songs on there is called Better Yet. And the hook is I know that it's not better yet, but one day it's going to be. And I think that's been really sweet to see that resonate with a lot of people. When I wrote it a couple years ago. And so to be able to have it out is really special, and to just kind of see people resonate and be encouraged by that message. So, yeah.
It's a great album. And the EP before that was kind of your first handshake, because you did an independent release prior to the official Provident release, right?
I did an independent release. I released the first 3 songs in 2017, and then finished out beginning of 2018. And then I signed with Provident the end of 2019, right before COVID. Good times.
It's a great time.
But then I think it was May, it was spring of 2020 that I put out my Leanna Crawford EP, which is so sweet.
Now, because I did my research, I saw that you kind of have a really interesting story on how you got quote unquote discovered. Handing Matthew West your demo I can read, Mom. I can read. See, I can read bios and how. You know how many people try to like, if I can get my song to Leanna Crawford, if I can get my song to Toby Mac, you actually did it and it worked.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
what did you do? Bribe to babysit the kids because they were younger back in the day? Like, how did this happen? We need to know.
Well, what's funny is I'm not like, I'm a very like chill type person. I'm not someone that's necessarily going to be like putting myself out there, but obviously I get on stage every night and that's what I do for a living. Like, I love it. So I guess I do and don't. But there were times when I would go to like these conferences and in the back of my mind I was like, oh, it'd be so cool if I met this person. And like goodness, when I was in high school, like late high school, we had this big thing in the Northwest. It was, I think they still do it, but it was like Christian Musician Summit. And this big conference, and people from Nashville come. And I remember I was on my way to one of the sessions, and Matt Maher approached me, and he asked me directions for the bathroom. And I was like, oh, it's this way. And it was like, I was like, that's so cool. And I told him that later when we were on tour together. I was like, first time I met you. And he was like, cool, that's sweet. But I like called my mom, and I was like, Mom, I just told Matt Maher where the bathroom was. But it was like things in the back of my mind where, you know, you go to these concerts, you go to shows, and you're like, oh, if I can just give my song. And my mom is so sweet, but she's always like, you just need to do it, you know, you never know. And I man, I think maybe one time I tried, but like those things were in the back of my mind. I was like, oh, if I just get, you know, discovered or someone can hear me. And then it's so wild the way that God works, because like, goodness, I'm just like so grateful for it and so humbled by it, because I went to college, and not that you have to go to college for music, but like a music business degree, and I was like loving it, and I was like, oh, there's so many different things I can do as far as like I can be involved in music in all these different capacities, right? You don't have to just do the artist thing. There's like so many different, you know, there's just so many different layers to the industry, so many different things you can do. And it was really encouraging to be like, wow, if I'm not on stage doing this every night, that's great. And so obviously I still wanted to, I still felt this, like, I still, you know, felt like God called me to do it, whatever, like I didn't know what that meant. But going to this songwriting conference, it was one of the first times where I was like, oh, this is really cool, I get to learn. But that really was not on my radar. And I say that as like, I wasn't trying to like be like, hey, Matthew, here's my songs. It was very much like, and I know that sounds funny, but like I had been like hoping for that at different things. And this one was just not. It was like, you know, in Aspen, Colorado, it was very small. It was like 100 people. And it was just not on my, you know, radar. But then when I like get up for open mic and nobody else would go sing, and they called my name, and I was like, sure, I'll go sing with my ukulele. And then Matthew happened to be there. And it all is just like, it was God opening the door and using Matthew to like, you know, get me into the industry in this way. But he had just spoken at a memorial service for someone that had really championed him. And so he was like, I want to do that for someone else. And so it was also like God orchestrated that, obviously. And so he used Matthew as like the tunnel, you know, the
Right.
doorway to get me to Nashville, and I'm really grateful for that. But it's just one of those things that was like so wild. And then Matthew was like, hey, do you have more demos? And I sent him all my demos, and then he invited me out to Nashville a few months later, which is wild. It's like, it is a crazy story, and it's one of those where you're like, that is totally bizarre. But it was very unexpected, and I still was like, I don't know that this is real, because this is something that like is so cool. But I was like, even when it happened, I was like, this doesn't really feel like a real thing. But very, very grateful for the journey and how I got there. That was like the long version of that.
I loved it. See, I loved it. We're going deep. I told you. So Matthew West is a great guy. He's played Night Vision a few times as a headliner, and I think it was 2022. Corey Asbury was supposed to play, and then he got ill. Probably, you know, it was COVID. It was COVID season. We'll say that. So Matthew West came in at the last minute, just flew in with his daughter and his acoustic guitar, and with the media department and Night Vision, we're constantly running up to take an artist to an interview or a VIP tent or an autographs. Yeah. And I backed up the golf cart, and I totally just ran over his acoustic guitar.
No, I'm so sorry.
And he was chill about that. So if you're bringing the ukulele to Grand Junction for Night Vision, just watch out for me, because I apparently am into destroying artist instruments like an hour before they go on stage.
Oh my! Well, I'm sure someone had another acoustic.
Yeah, you know, Zach Williams was probably hanging around or something like that. You can borrow one of his. Speaking of Zach Williams, you're going on tour with him in the fall.
Yes, I'm so excited. I'm so excited. We're going to some fun places too. I'm so excited.
Well, nothing's funner than Kirksville, Missouri.
No, obviously not.
I mean, that's the pinnacle, and then we take a dive from there.
No, I think okay. So one of my dream venues to play, which is like obviously Night Vision, but then
Of course.
Red Rocks. So that I've never played that, and so I think the end of the tour, that's where we're playing, which is super cool. So I'm very excited.
And that's like in October or November, so there should be like only about 1.5 feet of snow at Red Rocks when that's happening.
I hope not.
I mean, bring your snow boots for that one. Now, doing my research for this, I went to your website. I'm a big merch guy. I love a good merch hustle. I see that we have sweatpants. We have like a whole sweatsuit. Is that inspired by the NBA player husband, or was that just like your thing? How did we sell it to our merch company? Like, you know what? I need a sweatsuit for this.
I literally wear sweatsuits. I wear matching. I wear the matching sweatshirt and sweats. So it was really something that I wanted to do because I was like, this is what I wear. I wear a lot of green, a lot of blue, and obviously I love, the blue. And so that was just, we were like, let's try it and let's see what happens. But it's really because I love the sweatsuits. That's pretty much what I'm constantly in. We Are Messengers guys, like his band guys would make fun of me because I would get on stage and have my sparkle boots and the dress or outfit or whatever, the whole thing, which I love. Like, I love that. But then immediately after, like, I'm back in my sweats and my sweatshirt. So it's definitely a me-inspired thing.
And speaking of your merch, because Leanna not only sells it, but she also wears her product, which means it's high quality stuff. That's one of your sweatshirts that you sell, isn't it?
It is. I actually love it. I do just kind of have it on the venue today because it's very comfy. And sweet Darren keeps asking me because I need to get him one, but we have these online. We actually don't have them here because we sold out of them. So I'm like, shoot, I need to get him a couple for him and his wife, which is so sweet because he's so sweet. But
get the whole sweatsuit. He needs the sweatpants as well.
He needs it all. He needs it all in blue. I think he would maybe wear it.
Maybe on stage.
He would definitely do it. Yeah.
Yeah.
For sure. But you could also say it was inspired by Cody too, my husband, I guess, because that's kind of what he wears too, a lot, sweats and sweatshirts. So I guess maybe it's both.
Now, because you did marry an NBA player,
yeah.
Has he taught you how to dunk? Can you do a three throw? Can you do any of that?
My skill level is more in trash talk. I'm a really good trash talker. My actual playing ability is, I'm very competitive, and so I give a lot of effort. But his dad has coached me a little bit. So Steve, my father-in-law, his dad is giving me some lessons. So if my shot's getting better, hand in the cookie jar, I'm working on it. But I know how to do the Euro step. Not to be confused with traveling, but could be on one I do it. I can't dunk yet. But we did actually, he was at our show yesterday. We were in Indiana, and there was a gym, and so we were playing a little basketball. And he doesn't he's kind of semi-retired this year, so he hasn't been playing, and he hasn't really been on the court. So it was really fun to hang and play, and the guys got to he was just watching while we played. But then he did dunk a little bit so they could see.
Does he cringe watching you play? Like, you're doing it wrong, your form is wrong. Like, if he tries to sing, do you correct him with the singing? Does he try to write songs? Like, are we trying to just swap careers with each other?
We're not trying to hear him sing, but he has such a low talking voice. It was so funny because he was in the room with one of my songs. I think it was Simple. It's on my record. But he was in the room, in the studio, and with one of my buddies producing it, Clint, and he's the best. We love Clint. But Clint looked over to Cody and he's like, Cody, do you sing? Because I really feel like you would have just an incredible voice because he has a very low, it's a really nice, he has a great voice, but it's
right.
Cool. But his singing voice, I realized, and I was just like, no, this is not a good idea. But then I felt bad because I really do give him a hard time about it. And then we were in the car and, what's the country artist? Josh Turner. That sings so low, and it's like, baby, lock them doors and turn the lights. And he was singing it, and it actually sounded good. So, I don't know.
So maybe on the next deluxe edition, the deluxe edition of Still Waters, we can get an appearance by the Hubs.
Yeah, that we don't put out, but maybe I'll send it to you.
I would love that. Bring it. Hey, so is he going to become the Night Vision? Because I would like to have him dunk on me. I think that would be a great video for my Instagram.
I will ask ask him. I think that'd be really fun. I would love if he came. He has been trying to come to more shows, which is really sweet. He's so supportive, and like he's always at as many as he can be at, which is so sweet. So I will ask.
And I'm sure he's probably never been to Grand Junction because there's no NBA teams in Grand Junction. So there's a Dairy Queen right across from the festival. So that's the selling point.
That's good.
You know.
He likes Dairy Queen.
So you're going to be, who doesn't? All right. Sponsor me. Anyways, you're going to be playing on Friday night with Strings and Hearts, Blessing Offer, Josiah Queen, Jeremy Camp. I'm going to get into a Blessing Offer thing here in a minute, but you got any cool stories with any of those other people? Jeremy Camp, have you met the GOAT, Jeremy Camp?
I did. I did get to go on tour with Jeremy Camp years ago. I think it was like 2019 maybe, and it was him and Matthew West, and it was the two of them. And I remember I asked them to get a picture, and it was like me in between, and I don't know, it was scary. I felt like I had like my bodyguards on both sides, and of course Jeremy has quite the arms. So
he's a little jacked, yeah.
He is. But he was super kind. So I really liked Jeremy. He was very kind, and his band was all really sweet. Blessing, I feel like I love Blessing, and anytime I get to see him at festivals, it's like so sweet. And then we never see each other in town. I love him, and he's the man. So
you just got to go to 12th Avenue in Nashville. That's where you could have saw us. I was holding him and like holding his arm. We were walking down the street the other day.
Oh, that's
going.
So sweet.
Going to get sushi. So, and everybody knows him on 12th Avenue in Nashville.
Where in 12th South are you getting sushi?
Or not sushi. Where did we go? We went to no, it wasn't tacos. It wasn't the mountain place, the themed mountain place. It was crap. It was
not that breakfast spot.
No, they had gluten-free muffins that he was really hot on. Maybe it wasn't sushi. I didn't eat anything because it was like 3 p.m, and of course he's an artist, so he's just having lunch at that point.
Yeah.
But he got.
Is he gluten free?
Well, that for the muffins there he was. I gotta think of. I'm gonna.
Yeah, I want to know where this is. I was like, the only sushi I get. There's a couple sushi spots I get in Nashville, but I haven't been to a 12 South spot. But I'm very picky about my sushi.
I'm trying to think of. It's not the Rutledge. This is great interview right here. I mean, people in Grand Junction. Yeah. When you come to 12th Avenue in Nashville, we got a bunch of places we don't even know the names of.
Get it out. Have you been to Oku though for sushi? While we're on the topic of sushi.
No, where's that at?
Very bougie spot. I mean, it's like, but it's a chain. There's one like Charlotte. There's one in Charleston, but also Nashville. It's in like more Germantown area. I think.
Okay. Can I?
Huh?
Can I give you a hot tip on sushi in Nashville?
Yeah, don't have it.
Don't go to the Twice Daily. Any Twice Daily gas station to get sushi because I did. I got it for my daughter.
That does not sound like a good idea.
She did not go to school the next day. We were sick.
That sounds like one of those things you maybe should have known. Not maybe.
I was there. I mean, father of the year. Okay, single dad status. You got to buy something, right? Oh, you need food? Let's go to Twice Daily and get you sushi.
I don't know. That one I could have maybe seen coming. That one I could have seen twice. I don't know what that is, but it doesn't sound right.
You live and you learn.
No, you do. I also think because I grew up like closer to the water, so I was kind of spoiled with like seafood, and I do less of that when we're landlocked in Nashville. I'm kind of a diva about my sushi and my seafood.
Now, speaking of Blessing, when I had him on here, he has a song called Jordans, and I was like, is that about the Jordans, the shoe? And he said, no, but it should be. And then he said, you know who you should, and then we started talking about like our love affair for Air Force Ones and Jordans. Yeah. And he said, you need to talk to Leanna Crawford about shoes because you know her husband has hooked her up with awesome shoes. So what kind of sneakers are we running with, Leanna?
Oh, I was never really a shoe gal until I met Cody, and then I was like, no, I love me some shoes. So I have a lot of really, really cool shoes, and I'm very thankful. He was a Jordan athlete, and so he would get all kinds of shoes, and no one really is a size 16.
Dang, that's his shoe size?
Shoe size. So it's not like he can really share a lot of the shoes. It's like, yeah,
Jeez.
to find somebody.
Okay.
Yeah, no, it's his big feet. So anyways, but I could get, he got me some pairs through Sweet Jordan. So I have a lot, but I don't really know like I'm not a like a true. I feel like Blessing would know all of the like ones and twos, threes and fours. So Cody has to tell me like this is what this is and this is But I have some very cool shoes. I don't know. Now I'm a shoe gal. I have some very cool ones.
Well, there's nothing wrong with that. And speaking of Blessing, I texted him to ask where did we go have dinner at. He came back quick because I let him know that I was with you. Yeah. It's Sunda.
Oh, I think I've heard of that, but I've never been. Is it Indian?
It's Sunda New Asian. Because I'm like Googling. I'm like, oh yeah, that is the place.
Okay. And you had sushi or no? It was just
he had sushi. Because I texted him and I was like, where do we have sushi at on 12th Avenue? And he came back with Sunda.
I'm gonna have to try it. I love me some 12 South Sunda. I'm gonna write it down really quick.
Sunda, Sunda.
We're just talking about food. This is honestly amazing though.
Here, come to Night Vision. But anyways, back to Sunda. That's how we do it here. Yeah. That's right. That is exactly where we went because I remember the outside building because I was like, where are you taking me? Because I was like, I have no clue where we're going. And hat tip to Blessing for being awesome. He's like, this is the blind leading you at this moment. And I was like, all right, cool. Works for me.
That's incredible. Oh, I love that.
So when you get back off the road before Night Vision, before the Zach Williams tour, put the sweatpants on, take the husband with the Jordans and go to Sunda on 12th Avenue. And then you can go across the street to Twice Daily.
And get the real sushi.
And get the real sushi for like $4.
Yeah, that's what I'm going to do.
So back to Night Vision, or they're not going to let me do this anymore. What can people expect? Because when you play, it's going to be like 105 degrees.
Love that.
With 100% humidity. It's high desert.
Is it humid there?
Oh yeah, it's just. Look, the salvation numbers, the people who come into a relationship with Jesus at Night Vision is like higher than any other festival. It's because it is so hot and sticky. You're just getting a sneak peek of what hell would actually be like.
Oh my gosh, that's crazy. Well, I would say everybody bring your water for sure.
Yes.
I love festival season, and so I feel like it's going to be really sweet. But I think it's going to be a good time. We're going to hopefully dance and laugh and sing and worship and do all the wonderful things. But I feel like it's just, I don't know, I love I think summertime especially, and obviously 105 degrees, great, fabulous, you just never know. But I do think there's an element of just I love just being outside, and it feels like we're at camp and we're just hanging, and it's this beautiful time that we get to share. So I think that's obviously so special. But I would say, obviously some singing, maybe some jokes, I don't know, maybe not jokes, I don't know, you never know, but just some real, I don't know, it's going to be so sweet. I love getting to just share the songs live, and just getting to share my heart, and hopefully just encourage people and make everybody I don't know, just hopefully bring a little joy to the day. I think the whole day is going to be sweet. Obviously, such a fun lineup with everybody is going to be amazing, and so I'm very excited. But I think it's going to be a good time. It's going to be a good time.
Don't wear your sweatsuit. Social Club Misfits played a couple of years ago, and their computer with all their music overheated on stage. That's how hot it gets there.
This sounds like this
sounds like hell.
There's going to be a lot of people coming to Jesus.
That's right. Bring it, Leanna. Now, I got two more questions. By the way, we did talk about her merch. She does have superior merch. So, people at Night Vision, bring your money, buy it, and everybody else who's not coming to Night Vision, go to her website, Leanna Crawford, and get some merch. All right, and get the suit. All right, the sweatpants and the sweatshirt. What was it? About 2 years ago, a woman, I think it was, performed your song on American Idol. Yeah. How cool was that? You got the pro athlete husband. You're talking to me. You're in Kirksville, Missouri. Your life keeps going up. And then, did you know about it before it happened, or how did you find out about that? Because that's pretty cool.
It was wild. I did get a text before it happened because Haven Madison, so her dad is Jason Roy from Building 429.
Yep.
He's awesome. He's been super kind to me, and so he actually did text me before it happened, and which that was very mind blowing. But then it was he was like, hey, I just want you to know, this song's been really impactful for Haven, and she's going to share it on American Idol. And I was like, that's literally insane, because I grew up watching the show, and that's literally insane. And so I think it's also just like wild too, because to have that, song, those words be just like shared on a platform like that was so special, and she did such a beautiful arrangement of it. But then it was cool because it was like, singing that song after it shows, and it was like so many people watch American Idol, and so it was very cool to be like this like sweet connector of like, hey, like that was a very special moment. I feel like that was like, oh sweet, we were on American Idol, kind of, even though I wasn't, but like the song was.
From giving your demo to Matthew West to just continue going, like it's just this is what happens. This is what now you're talking to me. See, this is what happens when you live right. God blesses you. Sure. I got a couple more questions. I asked on Instagram on Night Vision Live for people to submit questions. Yeah. And we got some not great ones. Why did you start singing? There's tons of interviews with that one. But this one said, doesn't everybody ask you, like, how'd you get into music? Like, and they think they're being original with that question. I'd rather talk about gas station sushi and sweatpants.
Yeah. Let's go.
Okay.
Let's go all day.
But this was Hillary asked, you talk a lot on your Instagram about anxiety.
Yeah, I do.
That's all. She wants to know why. So I don't like, Hillary, you could have brought more than that, but
No, yeah. I mean, I talk a lot about it because I think it's like I have experienced it and walked through a lot of it. Even when I didn't necessarily have a name for it, there was like a season, especially like a couple years ago. Actually, it was really kind of all culminated during COVID, which was just so, the timing of that. But I really had a lot of pressure that I was putting on myself, especially for music and like career. And I had this vision of where I thought that I should be, and that wasn't where I was. And I was a lot of comparison, a lot of different things and pressures, just like from kind of all over the place, that some things I was telling myself, some lies I was telling myself, some things I had heard from people, and I just started to believe all of it, and experienced a lot of anxiety. And I wasn't sleeping. I wasn't really, like, I was on tour quite a bit. Well, obviously that was pre-COVID, where I was on tour, but I just like wouldn't sleep. The bus was just, usually I can sleep. I'm not sleeping great on this tour, but I would be up at you go to bed at midnight or 1 a.m. and I'd be up at 4 and just like kind of in, just like waiting to get there. Like, it was like a weird time in my life, and I didn't really understand that.
Right.
And even what it was. And so I, when COVID happened, it was the first time that I was really like forced to be alone with myself and like alone with my thoughts, and really kind of work through some stuff. And it was really a tough season for me for a lot of different ways. But and I was like, I was like anxious and also depressed a little bit too, and I didn't even understand. I didn't really know or have even like words to describe what I was feeling. I just knew that I wasn't like myself, or where, anyways. And so I am super grateful because God was super kind and faithful during that season. But my sweet sister, who's my roommate for years before I got married, and she's the best. But she kept telling me that I should go to counseling, and in love, of course, in love. But she, when I didn't, believe in myself or anything like that, not, but like when I wasn't really trusting that God had me, she was like reminding me of that, and she was kind of like the angel, being like, hey, no, like I'm still here, like you're good. But it was really, really sweet and such a gift that like God gave me her during that season. But she was like, hey, you really should get some help. You got work to do. And of course I was like, I do not want to do that. I don't want to go to counseling. It's just, even like, though I know it's such a great thing, it was still really hard for me to be like, it's just like one of those things you just don't want to do. Like, I did, in every session I had, I just didn't want to do it. So finally I was like, okay, like I'm gonna go. And every session I didn't want to go. Like, it's just one of those things. But God started to work through that, and really just, I'm so thankful, because it didn't happen overnight, but He did bring a ton of healing in that season, and a lot of it was just being able to have conversations and kind of having freedom of like, hey, like you don't have to do this music thing. Like, it's kind of putting you through hell a little bit. Like, you don't have to do it. And it was like this freedom of like, oh, Like, I don't have to. Why am I doing it if it's torturing me, if I'm feeling this much? And for it, I feel like anxiety can hit us in a lot of different ways. But there was like a point where like I had experienced like a panic attack, and that was really bizarre for me. And that was before counseling and stuff. But my sister, I'm so glad again, she was there and she was able to like talk me through it, and that was really, I'm very thankful for that, because it was really scary. And so the reason I talk about it is because not that I believe that, I do believe that, obviously God can heal that. And he does, absolutely. But also sometimes it lasts longer, and it can be years for people, and there's seasons of ups and downs. And I know that that's like a tendency that I have. And so, very grateful, because I feel like I'm in a space now where, not that I never feel anxious, because I do, but, I'm just like, I'm trying to lean more into what God says, and just like continuing to be reminded that he is faithful. Not that I'm never going to be anxious again, not that I wasn't anxious last week or this week, but it's just one of those things that I really am constantly working through. But I have seen so much healing, and so I feel like there's so much hope too that I feel now, and this freedom of like, goodness, like God's got me. And so like, what a gift to be able to do music for a living. Like, what a thing to be able to do, and to be like, this is what I like. I get to write songs and I get to sing, and there's such freedom in that. And so my perspective shifted a lot of like, it's not life or death, even though I make it out to be. Like, it's not, like I'm grateful to be doing this and to encourage people and do the thing. And, but I don't have to. And like, God can close the door as easy as he opened it. And I think there's a lot of freedom for me in that, knowing that like, this is a gift. And so kind of with that, my Still Waters album was really just like this freedom of like, goodness, what a gift. And I'm super grateful to do this. But it's not my everything, because I also know that it's not about me either. So it's like, if God wants me to do it, he's going to do it, and I'm going to work really hard, and I'm going to do the thing as long as he allows it. But yeah, that's why I talk about anxiety. It's like, because I'm anxious sometimes, and I've gone through some stuff.
Well, can I just proper, if you hear this, she is excellent. Like, give her own talk show. Like, you can, once the WNBA career is over, and we're just now, we're in Jeremy Camp status, we're only doing like 70 shows a year because we're just balling. She can do a show and just do her own talk show. She'll be the next Kelly Clarkson.
Yeah, me and Kelly Clarkson. That's so kind. Thank you.
You are so personable, because sometimes with the artists, you're like, tell me about your song, and they give you 3 words, and you're like, stretch. Okay, never mind. We'll go to the next question. Finally, I want to ask you, I ask every artist who's doing this question. You don't know this is coming, but who is Jesus to you?
Oh, I love that question. Goodness, I feel like, I don't know why I'm like getting so emotional. I feel like it is it's such a sweet thing to think about that question too, just because I feel like it, the more, I don't know, I don't think you just like know who Jesus is and then you just are like, oh cool, I know everything about Jesus. Like, I feel like you just continually learn more about who he is. And my thing is like, I feel like, and my pastor said this growing up in our home church, and I remember this when I was little, but it was like, the more he learns about Jesus, the more he learns about God, like the more he realizes how much like his need for God. And I feel that so much, like the more I learn about who Jesus is, the more I realize my weaknesses, the more I realize I need him. And right. But I think it's like, goodness, I think who Jesus is to me, he is like, he's just like the kindest friend. And I think very faithful. I think a picture of him is just like, he, especially in the season, he's just very kind. And I picture him like, I don't know, like I picture him a lot like just like kind of sitting next to me and like talking. I think for a long time I pictured Jesus and like God as like this far away being that was just sort of like watching me, like getting ready to kind of fail, like if that makes sense, like sort of like watching in the distance. And I've like, that's just not the case, and like couldn't be further from the truth. And he is like walking beside me, and that is something that I feel like I forget a lot. But when I it's like very overwhelming to think about that of just like he is right beside me and he's in it with me, and I think, but he already, obviously he is kind and he's already gone before me, and he's taking care of everything. But I think who Jesus is to me is kind. I think that's what I would say. And obviously when I think about all the wonderful qualities of Jesus, I'm like, I want to be more like Jesus, like, far away from that.
Right.
But it's definitely like, it's such a, I mean, obviously he is, he is kind, and I think in this season too, especially, he's just very kind, and I feel like he's just right next to me, and that is, yeah, I don't know, it's humbling, I guess. I don't know.
Absolutely.
He's very kind.
Well, Leanna Crawford, Friday, June 6th, Night Vision. Sweatsuits, go to her website, leannacrawford.com, right?
Yes.
Leanna Crawford, because sometimes they put music or the before, I just want to make sure I'm not sending them to the wrong website.
I've had it for years, so many years.
If you want a sweatshirt that she's not selling at the show, you got to go to leannacrawford.com to get the sweatshirt.
Should I bring my sweatshirts in 100-degree weather? I don't know if that's like a good vibe.
Now, last year, Kane brought theirs, and they sold out.
Okay. Well, I'll bring them.
Because these people aren't living in the moment. They're playing the long game, because it is Grand Junction, so it is going to be winter by August there.
Freezing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we play the long game. I think that's good. I love it.
So tell your sister, pack up all the sweatsuits you possibly can. Y'all bring your $100 to get the sweatsuit. You're going to need it, because when fall hits after the 4th of July in Grand Junction. And, we will see you on Friday, June 6th at Night Vision.
Can't wait. I'm so excited.
Thank you, Leanna.